First of all, it's important that we understand on the front end that meekness is not weakness. It's important that we understand on the front end that meekness does not mean that a follower of Jesus does not have a backbone. In fact, I would submit to you in a loving way that following Jesus should strengthen your backbone. It also doesn't mean that a person, a believer, is to become passive. Notice that it's vital that Jesus did not say, "Blessed are the passive." And so what we want to do for a moment, let's look first of all at this word in the Greek. The word meek literally comes from the Greek word praus, and it means power under control, exercising God's strength and nature under God's control or under the lordship of Christ. Now, I'm going to share a brief story with you that I think illustrates the principle of meekness. I want you to know it has not perfectly, and so I just want to acknowledge that on the front end. But years ago, I went fishing with a friend named Ken. And Ken and I had parked his vehicle on the side of a river, and we put on our waders and waded in. I was like 50 yards up from the car, and maybe he was about 70 yards up or so. And while we're in the river fishing, this group of, and this won't sound very pastoral, I'm not sure how to put it, but this group of guys, hoodlums, if you will, pulled up to his vehicle, all piled out of the car, and they had tire tools in their hands, all kinds of large pieces of iron, and they were ready to break into Ken's car. Now, my adrenaline began to rise, not merely because they were about to break into his vehicle. My adrenaline began to rise because I knew that Ken kept a 9mm pistol in his backpack, and he was wearing his backpack. And I was like, God, don't let this escalate. I'm whispering this prayer in the middle of the river. Well, Ken, as you know, sound travels well on water. Ken strikes up a conversation with them. And they're all scoping out what's in the car, getting ready to break glass. And Ken just begins this dialogue with them. They start responding. And what I witness is Ken, in his wisdom, literally just talked them down. And they all got back in the car and left. And I stood in the river going, just wow. And so I say, Ken, first of all, thank you for how you handled that. But thank you also for not pulling the 9mm out in this circumstance. To which he just very forthrightly said to me, Paul, I would never pull the 9mm out in that circumstance. In fact, they could take the wheels off the car. They could steal the car before I would pull a gun out. I only have this to protect my own life, the life of my family, your life, and the lives of others. If somebody's life was at stake, I might take that step. But otherwise, they could take the car off and drive it or drive it away. And so what that illustrates, not perfectly, but as a